Hello, it's the guy that spends way too much time making one video. A bit of background for this video. Every year, as you may know, 2K Games releases its yearly installment of their NBA game. Within the Discord I frequent daily, everyone, or mostly everyone, locks in to play 2K on release. I've previously only played 2K15 and 17 years ago, and this year I did show some interest in trying the game again. Thankfully, someone in our friend group gifted it to me, but he did the single-handed worst thing you could do to somebody apart from waterboarding them, which is buy them 2K and not get them VC. It is no secret that the game incentivizes buying their virtual currency or VC, which is the main way to improve your character. They even engrave people's names who did straight into the game. Nothing wrong with it. Use your money as you like. However, I decided to torture myself and see how long it would take me to grind myself up to see how high I could get. I gave myself around 2 weeks or around 80 hours, whichever came first. So I pretty much made NBA 2K a full-time job for around 2 weeks. If you want to guess how high of an overall I got after so many hours, write it down on a piece of paper and look at it at the end of the video, or write it in the comments below, whatever is more convenient for you. Side note as well, for a bit of the upcoming footage you'll see, when I mentioned the amount of hours played, it's around an estimation. I didn't include the minutes and the exact seconds, as it just flowed better and it was easy to track for me and just break it down for you quicker. So let's get started. So we're starting off with day 0 before we actually get into the first day we played the game. See, when I first started playing 2K, I made a random character and just picked any random team, which was the Pistons. Sorry to all the 6 Pistons fans out there. I tried the game out before finally locking in. I wasted around 2 hours just playing the game, practicing shooting around before actually making my final build. Also, a lot of the time, by the way, was spent installing the shaders for the first time. The first install took around like 30 minutes. I've heard it takes up to 1 hour in some cases, but it installs every time you boot up the game for some reason, so we have to wait a few seconds before we can play the game either way. Okay, with our shaders fully up and running, we can get into day 1 of the grind. We make our My Player modeled after my favorite streamer. I won't say who it is, but if you know, let me know in the comments. This time around, we picked to go onto the Philadelphia 76ers as they have a 98 team overall rating, and the position I'm filling in is the power forward position, which theirs currently has a 76 rating, just like the team. Funny how that works, right? Anyway, it means we have the opportunity to take a starting position on the team relatively easy while still giving us a strong team. After selecting our team, we can talk to our coach, and I think the GM, I don't know who he was, I didn't pay much attention. I kind of just skipped around and set our goals for the season, which gives you the opportunity to select your key games. Key games are randomly selected games throughout the season that reward you with extra VC and seasonal badges if you win. Once we leave his office, we meet our social media manager, who gets us our first interview and a photo shoot. She generally will give us extra VC, so we want to see her more often than not. So it's time for game day. We get put up against the 90s, against our 60. So you can imagine how well the game went. We got, hey, sorry to derail the whole flow of the video, but post-editing moment here, and I realized I said the wrong numbers, but we went 6-1-2, and we got 742 VC for our first game. We do our weekly quest of workouts at the Gatorade gym and upgrade to 61 overall. Simple, right? We're already up 1 point. We get back into my career and play more games to put us at our 7th game, where we are now a starting position on the team at a 63 overall rating. Game 11 was my best so far at 15 points scored, but most of my games had under 10 points, rebounds, and assists. For the last game of the day, I even tried to play on Hall of Fame difficulty to benefit off the extra VC modifier that the game provides. I was told by one of my friends that my stats were already dirt, so I might as well switch to Hall of Fame and benefit off that. And it didn't work out too well, as I only got 800 VC. So I decided to end the day by switching the game back to Pro and using all my VC to get me to a 65 overall. I want to mention that I got more VC in a faster time frame by doing side quests, by walking around the city, and doing my weekly go-kart race than actually playing the game. So we're at a 65 overall with 13 games played and around 7 or so hours invested of actually playing the game.
On and off the court, straight fundamentals.
Day 2, we didn't play much. We only got in a 4-hour grind session. For our daily login, we got a banner. A banner. I would have mentioned I got 2000 VC on the first day from our daily rewards, but I had used it on my day 0 build because I didn't realize the reward was per account and not per character, as all VC is shared account wide. One major thing I want to point out is I switched my GOAT boosts, which are mini challenges that upon completion make your character go from a 58-year-old janitor to an actual NBA player. But for only a few minutes in the game, as we can't have you having too much fun in a basketball game, right? Throughout the session, I slowly got more points from our 15 point high to 19 and capping out at 28 points versus the Pistons, and even getting a few double-doubles on the way. I only played 8 games today, but my character still feels really sluggish when I don't have the boosts on. The GOAT boosts are still satisfying to use since you could actually play the game, but for the most part, I still feel like a part-time NBA player that just clocked in after working 8 hours as a plumber. For the most part, I was leaving the opposing team open to shoot 3s or just a 2 so they wouldn't score in the paint to allow my boost to activate. I would even allow my matchup to dunk so I wouldn't get punished for getting dunked on because the matchup would just bully me out the paint most of the time. See, when you get dunked on, you lose fans and team rating, which essentially equates to VC in the long run. Their overall is 10 times out of 10 higher, so you might as well let them score on you when the stat check happens to save you on losing fans, which translates to VC. Day 2, we ended 67 overall with only 8 games played total and not too many side quests that gave us VC to level. The few we did get were later game quests that have us trying to improve our teammate Paul George's stats, which is counterintuitive to getting our player up. And we got a quest to win the championship for 500 VC. Wait, let me check that again. Yeah, it's 500 VC to win the championship. They might have left out a 0. Who knows? Maybe they'll fix it. For day 3, we had around 6 hours. As for our daily wheel spin, we get 1500 VC to help us cut down on the grind tremendously. I do want to note that I changed the difficulty up to All-Star at this point, which changes our reward of 800 to 900 VC a game to around 900 to 1000 VC every game. I also checked the season pass rewards and realized I was missing a 15k VC reward. Yep, 15k. That is a tremendous boost that I desperately needed. And I do want to add as well that it is the only worthwhile reward if you're on the free season pass, apart from the badge progression boosters. Most of it is just garbage that is meant to pad the pass that should have just been in the game from the start. Apart from that, I got 2 endorsement deals from getting extra fans just for playing games for an extra 2800 VC. We also got to do the Racetrack weekly reset for another 2500 VC. We get another 13 games in. By now on All-Star, we're getting around 10 to 15 points a game, anywhere between 3 to 10 rebounds and assists a game depending on who we're facing. Our only notable stats at this point are our 85 defensive rebound, 83 strength, 76 driving layup, 75 speed, 73 close shot, and 71 passing accuracy. The rest are just non-existent. We only have 5 badges at this point. A bunch of our major upgrades at this point cost well over 1k VC, so we have to play 2 games alone just to get a larger upgrade on our stats. We end the day at 72 overall. However, we don't actually end the day here. I got on the Park, which is the online PvP mode for the uninitiated. I did a 2v2 and a 3v3 game just to see if my player was useful at this point in time. And by the end, I couldn't really tell if it was useful, and let me explain why. In the 2v2 mode, we lost 5 to 22 to a 96 overall and a 85 overall AI. I don't want to blame my team, but my 82 overall teammate just kept spamming reach and fouls every chance he could get while simultaneously playing no defense. I tried to do what I could, but a 72 isn't going to match too well into a 96 that probably has multiple games played. We only got 5 rebounds and 0 points by the end of the game. We now queue up in the 3v3 court and sit on our phones letting our brains rot on 2K TV while the game starts.
Jays and Lellman, welcome to How Many Twizzlers Can Hold Me?
As for our 3v3, it went no different, but for a whole different reason. See, our matchups were actually fairly even. I'd even say we had the advantage as my matchup was 60, yet we rarely got the ball. I scored the 2 points of our total 5 points. Yeah, we only got 5 points. I got screens for my teams and tried to get assists for my teammates, but they just wanted to dribble the ball around and not pass it back and miss every shot, which is just the usual what you'd expect from random queues. I do want to add that at this point in time, it was hard to get a game, as every time somebody would see my overall, they would just walk out of the court. Day 4, we start off really weak. Our daily wheel spin only gives us temporary boost that boosts our layup and dunks for 10 games, which are mandatory. You can't choose which games you want to use it on. You can't save them, can't store them. They're just there for the next 10 games. We put in around 7 hours a day. Again, mainly just doing my career and doing the after game practice just to boost our badges. We do our lucky number 13 games. Our stats haven't changed that much, but we do hit a new high score of 23, 10, and 4 with a 58% shooting and break it at 24, 9, and 3 at 63% on the last 2 games. One thing I do want to add is we got our favorite badge, the Pogo Stick badge, that makes our player not take 1,000 hours to recover from any hop, leap, or step. We even stayed up so late that I was able to get the 2 KBC reward from the daily bonus of day 5. The reason I stayed up this late was I was trying to find games on the Park to record and add more for the gameplay, but I couldn't find any because I was the only 74 overall at this point. And as I stated before, anytime I try to hop on any spot, anybody would leave as soon as they saw my low overall. I even tried to play games in the theater with someone else, and by myself, and we could not find any games at all. So I just decided to cut my losses after about an hour of not being able to get a single game in. Day 5, we got 15 games in, and I simmed 2 of them. Let me explain why. They just went horribly wrong, and you know when you get that feeling that the game is just meant for you to lose, and the game just doesn't give you any opportunity or nothing? Yeah, it was those type of games. I just skipped them. I know we've all had them. Don't blame me. Blame the game, okay? Or you could blame me. It doesn't matter. It's fine. I was getting around 20 to 26 points a game, with around 10 to 15 for the few that we did lose. We peaked at 38 points, but that was with double overtime versus the Wolves, so I won't look too into it as it was a one-off. But by this point in time, I was a bit tired. It was a bit more of the same old. I even switched the mode to rookie just to finish off the last game. And if you're wondering how different the game is on rookie versus all-star, I scored 67 points with a 97% field goal percentage. We got to 77 overall with a decent amount of badges, so I decided it's time to try out the park yet again. I thought I had made a mistake hopping on the park again this early, as I played 2v2 games and lost miserably, but they were higher level builds that played well into the solid games. One of the games was also me and a fresh level 60 that we got 21-0 by high 99s. So yeah, there isn't too much to link into those, but we did finally get a 3v3 match. Of course, after 2K TV finished rotting our brains while we waited.
Are these the whippets that I see the immigrants doing?
And actually did decent being matched up against a 99. Yep, another 99 that does everything we did, but they do better. Stat-wise anyway. We did lose, but it was not a blowout. It was actually a close game. I was still able to be effective for the other guy that didn't quit out before the game started. We probably would have won if we had a third player rather than the AI. By the end of the game, we had similar rebounds as our 99 matchup. With 2 more assists on our end, there was a 5-point differential, but that's because I thought it was a better idea to pass it to our 95 teammate than attempt to score on my 77. We can be somewhat useful, but we really need a scorer on our team to carry the game. For day 6, we logged into pure disappointment. As you know, we do our daily wheel spin and we get 10 temporary block boosts. Of course, I really wish we had gotten VC, but it is what it is. You can't get VC every single day. This was the online play day. There was a weekly event called Basketball Gods with a Z, so you know it's serious. They even had a warning letting us know not to cheat or else. The goal of this event is to win 4 and 6 games in a row to get 15 KVC total, naturally, of which we did not get. We were only able to get a win streak of 1. You have to get a win streak of 6 with the same people. So if one leaves, you have to start all over fresh again. Even if one person DCs, the other 2 lose their streak. Also, with this being an event that rewards VC, there are high 90s grouping together to try to win, which doesn't end up well for us in the 77 bracket. I was even told that you get boosted stats in this mode, but it didn't feel like it. Apart from that, we didn't have the badges that other players would have. I also tried 3 rec games as well with the boys, and you'd expect it to go as well as you think it did. We lost all 3 times. Yeah, we lost. I was just kind of there, and as you'd expect, we got matched up against 90s. Yeah, again 90s. My character just felt sluggish compared to all my matchups, which was a stark contrast to when we actually got 10 of us to play all teams versus each other. Everyone got to play characters that would actually perform well in their role, and everyone was somewhat on a level playing field. It was actually a really fun mode. You may say this isn't grinding, but I just counted it in as a time, as I assumed the average player would want to take a small break, even if it isn't the premier way to farm VC. We also end the day by doing the Heart of the Dynasty mode, since it gives us a nice 5 KVC bonus for only completing 4 games. We also did 2 games as well in my career to bring us up to a total of 79. These 2 games, I might add, were also our playoff games as well, as we had simulated and skipped all our remaining games up until this point to get extra VC for completing and winning the playoffs. I want to apologize to our daily wheel spin fanatics, but we missed our daily dopamine hit. I was just in a rush and kind of forgot. So for day 7, we played around 8.5 hours, and at this point in time, we had set our difficulty back down to rookie, because I was just tired of the grind and wanted easy wins. And if you don't know how easy rookie is in 2K, it makes your Celtics Shaq player turn into Prime Shaq, while simultaneously making the opposing team go from Prime Jordan to the 7th man on the team. Sure, I was getting 2, maybe 300 less VC per game than if I had it on a harder difficulty, but I was looking at the long term. One thing you might not have noticed is you get GOAT points for scoring high and winning the championship multiple times. So if you get enough GOAT points and become the GOAT, you get 10 KVC as a reward. But that's in the future. For now, we got our first championship win after 14 games today, which put us at 81 overall with most of our badges unlocked. We even tried some games in the rec and we actually won. I won't go too much into detail, but I'll just bring the matchups and my scoreline, and you can just make assumptions based on what you saw. My character now doesn't feel as bad as when we first started, as we now have a decent amount of badges and stats to bring us closer to 99. I even try to honor my wins by buying some new clothes, but I'm just going to leave the prices up on some of the stores, and again, I'll let you make your assumptions on if I bought some or not. Before ending the day, I do want to say I have around a little over 50 hours played, and at this point in time, I want to say I have a somewhat viable build, but I'm still lacking in a couple of areas. If I were able to rearrange my points, I could make my build slightly more viable and effective in fewer areas at the cost of losing coverage in more areas. It would allow me to be more of a 2-trick or 3-trick, but at least it would be a viable trick. But the route I went allows me to unlock and farm badges, as you just don't auto unlock every badge when you hit the required attribute level. It just means you have the privilege to farm the badges, as they're not instantly unlocked. That's day 7 at 81 overall. Okay, so for day 8, I took a small break. I just logged in to get my daily dopamine hit of 2500 VC. I also played 3 key matches before I logged off to play something else for the week to help me mentally recover from 7 straight days of basketball. So naturally, I just queued multiple hours of ARAM. Nothing much changed in terms of our overall, since at this point major upgrades cost along the upper end of 1k, closer to 2k VC at this point. So we'll skip to the final chapter of this video. For the last bit of this video, I decided to splice in the last 3 days together simply because it was just the last bit of grinding just to see how high I could get. So it was mainly games of my career, since they were the most efficient way to farm VC for me at this point. And let me explain why. But first, you know we have to show our daily rolls. Day 9 was a dud, giving us 2 times rep that continues to run despite us not playing the game. Day 10 we hit 1500, and day 11 we hit the nuts at 2500 VC. Back on topic. So by now I have set my playtime on the team schedule to the lowest possible. I am now also only simming to play the key games required each season, and skipping straight through to the finals to maximize my GOAT and Dynasty points for the potential 30k reward from completing the 3 major quest lines. Did I also mention I'm only playing half the games as well? And you may think, why are you only playing half? Well, you see, if you play half of the game, or only 2 quarters with around 8 minutes played total due to our shortened schedule, you can sim to the end and still get 800, closer to 900 VC. You should never lose because we're on rookie, and we should be dropping around 50 to 60 points even with what little playtime we have. Apart from that, there is also a 25k VC reward from winning the FIBA Cup that only happens every 3 seasons. See, every offseason you can choose to play an extra FIBA game in that offseason before the actual tournament happens. In the 3rd offseason, you should win 3 games in the FIBA Cup to get 25k VC because it's on easy. For this session, we played 43 games this way, apart from the few that you couldn't fully skip. The only quests we missed were to become the best in Dynasty by itself, and the one combined by being the GOAT as well. So we missed around 20k VC, but we did get around 35k from the FIBA and GOAT quest, around 36k raw from simming games, and around 11k for miscellaneous quests and endorsements we got along the way. We ended the grind sessions, which were around 7 hours each day, or around 21 hours, at 90 overall. And here you can see all our badges. This was probably the most efficient way of farming VC if you suck and just want to do it on the side while watching YouTube videos or shows. Again, it's on rookie, so you don't really have to try. Just play your 8 minutes, spam the AK to skip the annoying mid-game show, and sim to the next. I also want to show you the fake Wemby the game generated on our 2nd season. I just thought it was really funny. And the real Wemby with 110 attributes in every stat. Yeah, he did not follow the basketball gods guidelines. I've played 4 rec games in the season and found a cheater by day 11 or day 4 of playing the rec. Before I make my final statements, I want to add that I did play 1 additional day. The spin was 1500 VC, of course, for all my dopamine enjoyers. This day was just the final hour and change I played to bring the Steam hours to 80, so I would stay true to the title. Here are my actual final stats and badges after the few more games and quests. My final overall is 91, and all but 1 badge is unlocked, and 2 aren't fully upgraded to their final form. I tried to increase the remaining attributes just to see how much VC we had left on our grind, and it was around 100k remaining to get our final stats to 99. Now keep in mind this last section of the grind was done on rookie. I was getting around 900 VC a game, and I was told by somebody who actually plays the game on Hall of Fame that he only gets around 1300 dropping 40 points. But again, that's on Hall of Fame. You probably also won't get the GOAT quest and Dynasty quest as easy on Hall of Fame, as these quests are completed quicker by winning way more games with larger scoring margins. Now as we're nearing the end of the video, it's only natural for me to give my final thoughts after playing 2K for an extended period of time. Although it may be hard to believe, I actually did have fun on the game. I do believe that it actually would be way more enjoyable if it didn't take so long to farm a singular build that you're unsure will actually work or won't be changed by the time you get to 99. The GOAT boosts are a really nice touch that do make the game actually playable and make it realistically possible to see that your player was actually drafted in the NBA. I wish there would be some system similar to it when playing online games if there's a huge discrepancy in matchup ratings, But for now, sadly, you're stuck farming anywhere between 40 to 50 hours to get a decent build, and anywhere between 70 to 100 hours if you want to fully complete your build, again with the only variable being your skill level, or alternatively, your credit limit. If you actually made it this far and enjoyed the video, please leave a like and let me know down below if you want to see me do this next year. Maybe I'll try to get to 99 and see how fast I can do it or how long it takes me. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.